Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this new edition of the news on DBS TV, where we bring to you the latest happenings in Africa and the world. We go right away to begin in Africa, where a group of African leaders are expected in Bamako, Mali, on Thursday for a crucial summit aimed at ending the crisis in the country. The four countries include Senegal's Macky Sall, Ivory Coast Alassane Ouattara, Niger's Mahamadou Issoufou and Ghana's Nana Akufo-Addo. They are expected to try the latest leg of mediation or mediation between counterpart Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta and the main opposition protest movement M5, who are calling for Keïta's resignation. Mali has been rigged by protests for more than 1 month, with over 11 people reported dead. Let's note that last week the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, sent a delegation to Mali led by Nigerian former leader Goodluck Jonathan to solve the crisis that yielded no fruit. The protesters rejected the call for unity government. President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta has since reiterated his call for dialogue with the opposition and also took the move of dissolving the Constitutional Court, which action seems to have done little to appease the protesters. Details of this in our next edition. Sudan's former president Omar el-Bashir, ousted amidst a popular uprising last year, is going on trial this Tuesday in Khartoum over the military coup that brought him into power more than 3 decades ago. El-Bashir is already behind bars for corruption, but there are reports that he could face the death penalty if convicted in the new charge. The trial comes as Sudan's post-revolution transitional government has launched a series of reforms in hopes of fully rejoining the international community. Sudan has also pledged to hand over Bashir to the International Criminal Court to face trial on war crimes and genocide charges related to the Darfur conflict, which left 300,000 people dead and millions displaced in a scorched earth campaign against a 2003 insurgency. The 73-year-old is accused alongside 16 others who are facing trials. Now we move over to Nigeria, where following the mass resignation of some 365 Nigerian soldiers from the army, the House of Representatives have decided to launch an investigation into the matter. The resignation came up on June 22 when a video of Caporal Martin Idakpeni went viral, condemning the attitude of the Chief of Army Staff regarding the many terrorist attacks killing Nigerian soldiers. In that same video, he also decried the poor working conditions of soldiers. The Nigerian House of Representatives fear that if nothing is done, it may lead to a serious security threat, thus pushing them to unanimously adopt a decision to look into the problem. Moving out of Africa, European Union leaders reached a historic agreement early this Tuesday on a 750 billion euros coronavirus recovery fund and the bloc's long-term budget after 4 days of marathon talks in Brussels. The overall EU budget for the period of 2021 to 27 will amount to 1.82 trillion euros, a deal lauded by Charles Michel, chairman of the summit, and French President Emmanuel Macron, as both tweeted, "Deal and a historic day for Europe," after the deal was reached. With masks and hygienic gel everywhere at the summit, the 27 leaders were constantly reminded of the potent medical and economic threat the virus poses to the continent and hesitantly committed to a costly aid package for those hit hardest by COVID-19. But Mediterranean states was hit by the COVID-19 pandemic pleaded for the EU solidarity to mitigate the economic crisis, but the so-called Frugal Four, the wealthy groups of Austria, the Netherlands, Sweden and Denmark, had insisted on budgetary discipline. The EU budget will introduce the rule of law conditionally system for the first time in the bloc's history. COVID-19 vaccine scientists at the Oxford University say the experimental coronavirus vaccine has been shown an early trial to prompt a protective immune response in hundreds of people who got the shot. The vaccine, called AZD1222, has been described by the World Health Organization chief scientist as the leading candidate in the global race to halt a pandemic that has killed more than 600,000 people. More than 150 possible vaccines are in various stages, and world powers say the results are promising. In about 1,000 people, half of whom got the experimental vaccine. In this present case, experts were looking to see what kind of immune response was provoked. The journal Lancet Scientist researchers said this trial showed dual immune response from people aged 18 to 55. The vaccine was developed by Oxford and licensed to AstraZeneca, which has put tests to its efficacy. It has signed deals to produce and supply over 2 billion doses of the shot, with 300 million doses earmarked for the United States. The United Arab Emirates has successfully launched the Arab world's first Mars mission, making it Arab world's first interplanetary mission and the first of 3 international missions to the Red Planet during summer 2020. Known as the Hope Probe, it was launched from an H-2A rocket from Tanegashima spaceport and is now on a 500 million kilometers journey to study the planet's weather and climate. It is expected to reach Mars orbit in February 2021 during the 50th anniversary of the United Arab Emirates unification. It will not land on the planet, but will instead orbit it for 687 days. The aim of the $200 million mission is to get a more detailed picture of weather dynamics in the Red Planet ahead of the future. The United Arab Emirates also wants the project to serve as a source of inspiration for Arab youth, a region too often racked by sectarian conflicts and economic crisis. That is how we saw it for this edition of the news on DBS TV. Thanks for being with us, and we do hope to see you tomorrow.